Empower Nation, welcome back to Empower Her Money podcast. I am your host, Angela Duncan. I am a money coach, and every episode I interview amazing female entrepreneurs that are making impacts in their world and bringing you the best of money and business advice. So today I have the honor to introduce to you Maeli and Heather, and they're both in Utah, which I was talking earlier that I've never been to Utah, but we're going to talk today about from poor to financially free. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you. We're excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, awesome. So I love to start out, if you want to each take a few minutes to talk about your journey, where you started, and then what you're doing today.
Very good. Well, Heather, go ahead and take it away for a second.
Hi, so I'm Heather Hargrave from Utah. So my journey starts from being a teenager that was on the streets by choice. I felt kind of suppressed by my mom's decisions. And so living on the street for me was a better option for me. There was a lot of fun, but also a lot of dangers. There were some really cold nights, and sometimes I didn't go with, some food, and it really empowered me to do more for myself, becoming a mother and a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to really utilize that time wisely. So I went to college, like we're all told to do. And I found myself after 6 years of college and 6 years of long nights of holding my babies and studying and saying no to my friends. I was working 2 jobs. That was not the dream I wanted to have. Like, that was not the end of my dream. And that couldn't be my reality. That was not going to work for me. So I asked the person that was coming into a small facility that I was running. I have a master's degree in health administration. And the guy that owned the place, I never seen him. I was like, you're coming in here once in a while, eating my bananas. I'm running this place. I'm working myself to the bone. I'm working 2 jobs. What are you doing? He says, Heather, I'm not in healthcare. I'm a real estate investor. And literally my brain popped, like everything I knew was wrong. And it finally popped into place like a joint, And I was like, wait, what are you talking about? And he explained to me that real estate investing, you can have different people come in and lend and all those things. And it just shifted my mindset. And I sought, some people that knew what they were doing. And that's how I met Maeli and her husband. And they changed my legacy and my life. And so
yeah. Well, and honestly, it takes the person to do it, right? So people are listening, as a woman, you really have to be able to say, I can too. I have to step out of that rat race. I have to be able to put in that work to find people who've done it before us. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult. I feel like in the world today, there's so much information, right? And so unfortunately, it's who you listen to. And so my advice, right, would be to don't listen to poor people, right? I love your money show for a reason, right? Don't listen to poor people. That's not a good place to get advice from. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so basically how I got started, and I'm grateful for our obviously business partnership and our podcast that we have together now. But so I came from a actual religious cult. And so from a very young age, I was told that I should, the only thing I'm going to learn is how to cook, clean, and have babies. And I knew exactly who I was going to marry at 11 years old. I was already preordained to this person. And I watched my siblings all get married off. And right, it was just part of the religion. I have 22 siblings, so that's fun. And I remember just feeling this lack of gratitude, and everyone in the household was just always sad, always depressed, always unhappy. I never knew why, right? I never understood the reason why everyone was so unhappy. I was always a very happy kid. I was like, it's fine, right? Life's great. But it was because my mom was so suppressed. She wasn't in the religion. She didn't grow up in the religion. She was kind of like blackmailed into it, right? Mm-hmm. And so we were in this compound. We finally did get out when I was 12. And I did go to school for the first time at 12 years old. And that was so amazing. And I think that's what triggered financial freedom for me was, wait a second, I watched for so long all the women just being so suppressed, right? And not having a voice. They couldn't speak unless spoken to. And to be in a real world where we do have a voice finally, right? And we can talk about real financial goals and really create something special for us as individuals, but also for everyone, right? Like we, as men and women, we can do that. And I don't know, it was very empowering to me. And I thought, well, I have nothing to lose, right? I'm already on rock bottom. So I can go, sky's the limit. And my mom was always very supportive because she didn't have anything, right? So I had a full-time job since I was 15 to pay for the way. And now I've actually purchased a home for my mom, which is really great. I know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And now that's my journey. So because I got out of the rat race and I found financial freedom, my mission is to help 1,000 women make sure that they get out of the rat race. We're at 2,700 right now. So we're really, we're pretty far away from our ultimate goals, but pretty impressive to be able to look at other women and watch where they've come from. So I love your podcast. I love what you're doing and your mission. It's so amazing to be here. So thank you for having us.
Yeah, such different stories, but how your guys' lives get intertwined. And then now you can team up and it's just so much more powerful when you have more people that are on the same mission, that want to impact other lives. And when you give, we definitely receive in return. So that's just amazing. So talk a little bit about how you're now implemented this from poor to financially free. Like, what are you doing for your community?
So for the most part, we are real estate investors. And so we've done nightly rentals together. We've done, fix and flips. We've done over 200 fix and flips now. And so we partner up with anyone and everyone that wants to come play ball with us. But we show people how to take their 401s or any type of, retirement account and show them how to self-direct that and put it into real estate. Because there's really nothing more powerful than to be able to be like, well, sure, you have money in the stock market, but stock market can be worth zero, right? I mean, it can. I mean, look at Kmart, look at, it's like, yeah, it can be worth zero. Whereas real estate really can't be, in the sense that it's always worth at least what the ground, the dirt on the ground. So I do love that aspect in real estate, is that there's so much more gain, I feel. And for the most part, we get people between 20 and 60% rate of return, which is life-changing for most people. And so that's kind of how it starts. But now that we've been doing real estate for so long, we found that we love, like you, we love educating. Like, we love coaching way more than we like to do the work, right? It's like, okay, we've done that. We've done all the different types of investments, and we still do. We currently have, 10 flips going, and we have multifamilies going. But now it's our turn to turn around and help our students, right? It's time to watch them take off. And we get to step back because we're in a financial situation we can, which, very blessed and humble to say that. But now it's our turn to give back. And so that's what our mission is to really just help everyone else get to where we are. So we can go play, right? Let's go boating. Let's go out to Miami tomorrow and hang out, right?
Right. Come enjoy some yachts and the beach life down here. Yeah. And I think what you're doing is very interesting too, because oftentimes, if someone goes and works for an employer, for example, who has a 401k, they don't always know that they can take it with them, right? They don't have to leave it there. And then especially when it's in the 401k, oftentimes they don't have the ability to invest in real estate. So then when they take it and they roll it over and they take it with them, now they have that opportunity. So I love that you're teaching that. And hopefully, the listeners are paying attention to that you can invest in real estate in your rollovers. So that's awesome too.
Yeah. Money in motion creates more money. If it's just sitting in your 401k plan, it can be gone. I know someone that lost $33,000 during COVID. It was just gone overnight, gone.
Hundreds of people I know are just
lots
losing.
of people.
Right.
Right.
And that's powerful to have a little bit more control, right? I mean, if you have your 401 or your, health savings account, or a lot of people don't know that you can actually invest in real estate with your health savings account.
Mm-hmm.
How awesome is that? Right.
Right. Yeah.
So it is legal. It's perfectly legal. And so to have control over what you're doing does sometimes feel a lot more comfortable too for people. Having it just kind of have the bank have a say so where they put their money can feel a little like, well, where is my money going? And why am I losing money? And, that feels very uncomfortable for a lot of people naturally. So it is nice to have diversify. This is what I suggest, right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket, but let's diversify that money.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're always going to need a roof over our head, and there's only so many houses, and it's I'm personally invested in real estate. That's probably my number one as well. I always tell people that's, for me, it's been the best. So talk a little bit, maybe where are you guys investing? Is it just in Utah where you guys are at? Are you looking at other areas, or how, talk about what you're seeing in the real estate market?
Yeah, so Colorado and Utah are actually the fastest growing markets in the nation right now. So it is wise for us to stay kind of in our local market. And we live here, so it is easier to manage, and, we're agents, so we can kind of help with that too. But we have invested all over. kind of our rule of thumb is if we see a 5% increase in population, then it's let's go, right? Let's get in there before we hit a little bit, because we're at like a 30% population increase, which is just like what? But if you can get to 5%, you see a steady pattern of growth, it absolutely makes sense to get in some multifamilies, or, I absolutely think that getting in something more than a sixplex is a better call than under. And that's just because that's where you don't have to stress about having reserves so much, because always you'll have the rent will pay for the mortgage. If you have a duplex or a triplex, it can get hard. If you have one person that's not paying rent for a month or 2 months while you're like, oh no, I'm losing money. And right. So sixplex is kind of that sweet number because it will always cash flow. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah. And plus when you're doing that 6 units or above, now the bank is looking at the asset itself instead of you necessarily as the borrower. So always like the bigger numbers too. And sometimes it's the same amount of work, you just
exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. So if someone was just starting to get into real estate and they wanted to look at long-term, where would you recommend that they start their journey?
It's like a buy and hold, just like a traditional buy and hold property.
Yeah. Versus like your flips. Cause sometimes there's a lot more work involved in that than just a buy and hold.
For sure. Yeah. I actually, in this market specifically, I would say come and check out our YouTube channel. And I would say find out more about seller financing, because like we just came from lunch with a couple. They're so amazing. They're so cute. And they're buying a property every year. Good for them. I'm so proud of them. Right. And they're just kind of getting their feet wet. They have like 6 properties total. And I'm going, you could buy a house a month. You know that, right? And they're going, no, we can't. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac doesn't allow that. What are you talking about? Right. And they're just so mad at me because I'm telling them this information. And the realistic point is, yes, you can, right? You can absolutely do seller finance deals. They're perfectly legal, I promise, in every state. And it is something where you can take over somebody else's mortgage. And a lot of people have great low interest rate mortgages right now, 2-3%. So can you imagine picking up a home that's distressed, right? Where maybe they're about to lose it because it's a pre-foreclosure, or maybe it's a bad divorce situation, or meth, mold, radon, who knows what the problem is. But you can be their grace, like you can be their angel and show up to their house and be like, I'll give you I'll catch you up on your mortgage. What are you behind? $30,000? Okay. Well, I'll write a check out of my HELOC or out of my 401 or wherever it's at, right? Here's to the bank, right? I'll catch you up on your mortgage. And then within, we'll now create a contract and we'll do this, morally, legally, and ethically. But now we just saved them from foreclosure.
Right.
Right. How many people, I mean, it's so powerful to be able to help these people. And now you picked up a home for $30,000. Right. Versus the entire mortgage. And, so it is a fantastic way to pick up money or pick up rentals right now. Even if you don't qualify for a traditional mortgage, that would be my advice, is come find out how to pick up a seller finance deal, because you could do it tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Creative financing, definitely. And I use that a lot with businesses too. If you're looking to buy and sell businesses, you can use that in so many different avenues. So awesome. That's good advice. So I have a fun question for each of you to answer individually. If you could have a superpower or a super strength, what would it be and why would you pick that?
I would love to read minds because I think that would be so powerful. You would have just so much ahead of the game on anything, on everything that you did, conversations with investors, conversations with people trying to sell their home. You would know exactly what to say to help them get through it and make that final decision. So definitely I would want to read people's minds.
Oh, I love that. That's so awesome. I would want to be able to duplicate myself.
There you go.
Right? I would want at any moment be able to be like 25 of me.
Yeah.
I like that one too. That was really good.
So you technically could be 2 places at the same time.
100%.
That's so smart.
Oh, if I could do that, oh man, the whole world would be a different story.
You'd probably reach your goal a lot quicker. We'd have to go to like 10,000 or 100 or a million women, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate both your time today. If anyone in listening to the podcast wants to reach out to you, what is the best way to reach you?
Gosh, there's multiple ways.
You can go to poor-to-freedom@gmail.com and email us directly. We'll respond and get back to you as soon as we can.
You can check out our YouTube channel. So it's Flipping with Mitch and Maeli. But then we have a sub-series for our podcast. So it's just Poor to Freedom.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time today. Empower Nation. Hopefully you wrote down that information, some great tactics. If you want to get involved in real estate investing, there's more than one way to do it. And we just gave you lots and lots of advice today. So thank you, ladies, very much. And until next time, I am your host,